It's your boy ConcertViz34, and you're watching This Week in John Mayer. So by the time this gets uploaded, it's 11:22 Eastern Standard Time. It may be next week in John Mayer, but we're going to cover this past week as I'm speaking live on August 10th, 2019. So I last left you guys off right before Columbus, recorded and uploaded a video the morning of August 3rd. So didn't get to review Columbus in that past video. That is where we're going to start and move our way along through to the last show as of this current recording, which is August 9th, 2019, out there in Charlotte, okay? So let's get it started. So Mayer moves on to Nashville, a.k.a. Smashville, a.k.a. Nash Vegas, a.k.a. where every white girl tries to have their bachelorette party nowadays, and he goes big. He brings out Chris Stapleton, and they perform a new song. Now, he mentions this song is written the day before on August 7th, and, you know, obviously the show's on August 8th. Now, this song is in the key of D, and it starts off with this little, you know, D, and then it's a suspended, and then B minor, and then he goes from that to a little chord progression. And he plays that again, so then he goes, and then there's a little, the chorus starts and it's like, and my rhythm may be off. I haven't had time to look at it. I'm not the tab guy. I'm just a concert review guy and in the artist review guy. So look for them tab folks to have that join up real quick. It may be up right now as I'm recording. And then the cool thing is we get a B minor little bridge here, and it's like, and I think that's a pretty dope thing. You can do some pretty cool stuff on that, and, you know, with the minor pentatonic. So that's the bridge, and that's really the song. And the best thing, this is what's great about this collab. Chris Stapleton and John Mayer are everything that is right with live music. Both of these artists bring in eclectic bases. I don't like much country music, okay? I'm just keeping it 100. I respect some of the legends and the work they put in, even though a lot of country is taken off of what the blues did. Yeah, a lot of the good elements of country were ripped from the blues. And anyway, I'm going to stop that. But anyway, with that said, I love Chris Stapleton, even though I'm not a fan of most country now, which is about them Janes and them dirt roads. And now it's becoming like how hip-hop is a caricature of itself. Country music has become a caricature of itself, except for the Sturgill Simpsons and the Eric Churches to an extent, and the Chris Stapletons, and a couple other guys, even from Kentucky alone, in other states, that are making really, really solid country that is getting exposure. But Chris Stapleton is everything that is right with country music. And John Mayer, while he has a mainstream audience, he is bringing his audiences on different journeys every single night. Well, a lot of songs overlap for sure. He's not giving you the same old cliche predictable set. And that is wrong with Nashville right now. And that is wrong. That is what's wrong with a lot of music that people could do better. Okay? I don't expect Ariana Grande to go fish and just start busting out different sets every night. But there's definitely some country and rock artists that could improve their set list, can challenge themselves, but they play the same thing night after night. And oh, this country artist is entertainer of the year. How many people are doing what Chris Stapleton is doing in country? Maybe a Keith Urban, maybe a Brad Paisley from just a technical standpoint. But all they're doing is walking around the country playing the same exact set night after night. Oh, look at Garth Brooks. He's doing 2 sets. Yeah, he's playing the same exact songs night after night. Now, he does take some crowd requests, but the sets are pretty much the same. What Chris Stapleton does, what John Mayer does, this is what is setting the standard for the next generation of artists. Not to be the Grateful Dead and play their whole catalog out, but to really mix up these sets, give different cities different tastes, and still be mainstream. They're not these obscure jam bands that many people can't be reached from. They're actually artists that people love and they have mainstream appeal. And this song is pretty cool. Now, the bridge is interesting here that I played in that B minor. It says, I don't want someone. You don't want someone. You want someone all the way. And then it says, I don't want someone. Allegedly, you don't want someone. You don't want someone to ever get away. Is what I kind of picked up. The lyrics, I don't know. Who knows? We'll find the real lyrics out if there's a lyric video that comes out. But it seems like this whole song's about a woman. Chris is married and he has a wonderful marriage, and his wife and him make beautiful music and they have beautiful children. So it's not about Chris. It seems like something that they wrote about maybe a generic person or some things that John has experienced along with some Chris Stapleton's great songwriting insight. But about a woman who goes back to the bar of her ex and, has a new man. Okay, she pulling up with the new man at the bar that she only discovered because of her ex. Or because of, at this point, John Mayer. Because, John's got the exes and Chris is married. So it's a very interesting concept. And this is a big highlight of this show, is having this new song. And who knows, is it going to be still an unreleased song? Does Chris add it to an album? Does John add it to an album? Is it a single? Is it part of an EP? Who knows? But I look forward to seeing this song stay the same, see the song possibly evolve, and see this on some sort of official release so the fans can purchase it. But Chris Stapleton and John Mayer, 2 artists I've seen in the last 365 days, not the last calendar year, but 365 days, they put on great shows, and to see that they were on stage together, let's make this a tour, okay? Mayer Stapleton 2020, that's change we can believe in, okay? I've talked to Michelle, that's change we can believe. No, that's a horrible act. I'm sorry, guys. Just rewind this part and tell your friends to rewind this part of the video. But very, very cool. So the homie goes to Columbus, Ohio, and he actually does a gender reveal. So I don't know how this was done, who paid who connected with who. But John Mayer does a gender reveal on stage. Couple is up there on stage with him, and it's a boy. So he plays the part of daughters in the kind of bridges part where it's about boys and how they, need a woman's touch and all that cool stuff. But definitely a really unique moment on stage to do a gender reveal. That was really, really dope. And then during the set break, I saw the Instagram live, and he talked about that and how he kind of randomly brought up those lyrics from Daughters. Since it was a boy, he was hoping it was a girl so he could do the entire Daughters. But that was a very special moment in Columbus, Ohio. By the way, I'm going to post some links from people that have been talking to me about the tour. There should be, by the time I research this and upload the video, a full show recording of Columbus along with some playlists my boy Talking Tunes put up for some of the different videos that people uploaded. So Columbus starts off with literally a gender reveal during the show. Minnesota is the same old, for the most part. Still a great show. I don't want to discount that, but there's nothing new to talk about in that show. The next thing that we're going to talk about is a very, very funny moment the next night in Milwaukee at the brand new venue out there, the Fisher Forum. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but the home of the Milwaukee Bucks and the home of many great concerts that'll be taking place in winter time and in when the amphitheater is full for Summerfest and someone needs to pull up like John Mayer, they'll be coming to this brand new venue. So he does a press conference after the show with David Ryan Harris shirtless in a towel around himself, which is just funny because, you know, you always see athletes coming out of the locker room for a press conference, or they'll be in the locker room with no shirt on. So it's kind of making fun at that whole post-game press conference thing that goes on in sporting events and bringing it to the actual concert literally on John Mayer's Instagram Live. So just a very funny clip that's on other social media platforms from Twitter. I believe I saw it on there, and on Facebook. It's been rotating around from different sites. But definitely check that out. Just pretty funny. John almost going through the game plan of the show. And David Ryan Harris making some funny comments at the end. So that was a cool moment. And the cool thing about this tour is John is really doing some entertaining things. Back in his early days and in middle of the road days of touring, he wasn't that funny. He tried too hard. He came off as a tool in many cases to people, including myself. But he's not trying hard. He's just being himself. He's not crossing the line and just giving us humor. So kudos to that. Now we're going to talk about Nashville, and we're going to talk about Charlotte in this next segment, because these were the great back-to-back shows where you get some special moments. Now, I was about to leave Nashville. Let's stay in Nashville for a second. John and Chris do Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. And this is where you see how great of vocals Chris Stapleton has. And I've seen him live, like I said, in the last 365 days. Dude could sing. And so can his wife, too. Morgan Stapleton, she could do them duets with him, and she could sing. And they're both songwriters that met and fell in love. And they have, again, they're just a really cool story in Nashville. And you see that Mr. Stapleton, verse 2, all right, he sings verse 2, and he kills it, okay? He's on his acoustic guitar, so you kind of, he's just kind of playing along. You don't hear him as much because he's, acoustics can't cut through when you have a song as electric heavy as Slow Dancing. Even though David Ryan Harris has his acoustic, it really isn't supposed to cut through. I would have loved to see Chris on an electric, because he can slay electric, as I saw during his set at Farm Aid last year. But, I think he just, look, he's a guest. He had the acoustic for the first song. He's not going to do a guitar change just for one song. So it's more practical to just have him on acoustic. But dude sang out the building. Okay, dude could really, really sing. He's got soul. He's got country. He's got bluegrass. He's got all sorts of things he can perform vocally that I've seen him do in his own shows, and he showed it here for the John Mayer fans who may not know him. A lot of them probably knew him. This is Nashville, and there's a lot of overlap. But both of these guys, just incredible people. And we move on to the next stop, which is Charlotte, on the anniversary of Jerry Garcia's very unfortunate passing. And this is August 9th, and this is back in the 90s. So this was 1995. And it's 2019 now, so it's been some time, but it's still something that a lot of the deadheads and fans of Jerry Garcia, music fans, take time to just remember him because of his tragic passing, back in 1995 out in California. I believe it was a rehab facility. So John plays Ripple, which is from American Beauty, 1970. That came out for the Grateful Dead. And Ripple is just one of those sentimental songs, which that album has a lot of. Broke Down Palace, and there's another one in there that's Addicts of My Life. They're just some very sentimental, kind of retrospective, reflecting on your life songs that were really made early on in the Dead's career, which is interesting. And a lot of these saw play in the Fare Thee Well shows that John was at in Chicago. So And then obviously they had the ones in San Francisco before that. But the Fare Thee Well shows some years back, where the last time the living members of the Dead played together in Chicago, Illinois. You see this, songs like Ripple being played at these shows. So just a wonderful performance. John on the acoustic guitar, and doesn't disappoint. Doesn't disappoint. And just like he did other Dead covers, and as he did on Jerry's birthday, he performed a Friend of the Devil that was just amazing. Okay, he's not Jerry Garcia, plain and simple. But he is somebody who is going to carry on the legacy of the Grateful Dead long after, many of the generation of the Grateful Dead. There are the members still surviving, and the fans of that OG generation of Deadheads. Once they pass, John will be someone carrying on that legacy, just like Joe Russo's Almost Dead and many of the other younger Dead cover bands and cover ensembles. So just salute to Mr. Mayer to pay tribute to Jerry Garcia. And people talk about how much of a jerk John is. When you look at how he's handled the Grateful Dead situation, he's been nothing but humble. And he came on with a little bit of an attitude of being kind of a toolish jerk when he first came onto the scene. A lot of that was perception, but when you look at how he pays tribute to the Grateful Dead, how he pays tribute to many legends, from Clapton to BB, to other artists that have come around, like Chuck Berry. He's really is a humble guy when it comes to this music thing. He respects the history of music, and he's trying to bring on the history of many artists and credit those artists as he has his own shows, having photos of Jerry Garcia on the screen while he plays the song. Having a tribute to Chuck Berry and intentionally pointing out this is a Chuck Berry song, or this is a B.B. King song, or this is a Robert Johnson song. He is somebody who is bringing the legacy of many artists who didn't get the shine while they were living, now that they've passed, and now that people's eyes are on John for all types of reasons, because of the pop, because of the blues, because of the country. Now he's saying, hey, here are my heroes, and listen to them, listen to what they said, and take something from these artists that you wouldn't probably listen to if you're a pop person, or you're a blues person and you don't like the country, or you're a country person and you don't really like the blues. Listen to these people through me. And that's what John's doing. Great week for John Mayer. Again, not much new. We have 58 unique songs. When I look at my count here, we had 56 prior to this, the week before. So 58 unique songs here. And, Continuum still has the most songs because it's done. And nothing else really being added to the albums. Just a new song, unreleased new song, and a cover. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have video, if you guys want to send me video, you're going to a show this upcoming week, a future week, please do so. Message me on Twitter at Conserviz34, DM me on Instagram. Feel free to send me video, and with your approval, we can make you a feature. Shoot some video during the show, before the show, after the show. Tell me why you love John Mayer, and we'll really try to incorporate that to give people that are at these shows more shine through this week in John Mayer. It's your boy Conserviz34. Have a wonderful week, the upcoming, and I hope you had a great week last week. By the time I record this, it'll be last week, but it's this week in John Mayer. All right, peace.